Mahalo and welcome back to Maebashi, which is episode 9, and what an episode it was. We left off with things getting so wrapped up in a nice little bow, and I was like, where are we gonna go? Where are we gonna go? We got episodes left. We've got plot lines that need to wrap up. How are we handling this? And this is the perfect way to just kind of unwrap what I imagine is our finale. So we're going into it kind of early, so apparently we're going to get a lot done in the next couple episodes. So it decides to circle back to Azu as we get back into her plot line and wrap things up. We have a typical start of the episode banter between Yuana and Azu where she is upset about the photos, and Yuana's like, no, my photos are great, don't destroy them. And just reintroducing the audience to the conflict with Azu as she is going to be the focus for, I assume, both this episode and a little bit into the next one. That all aside, we also just get a state of the group kind of vibe for the beginning. Despite like the bickering and fighting and whatnot, they're all very happy. They're big friends now. We've achieved friendship with the group. We've got great group synergy, and we're doing really solid with the group in terms of just running the flower shop. We've got a myriad of customers, and more importantly, they show us how far we've come with the Mappo, because before, the increase in increments was kind of baby, but they've showcased that, one, they can do multiple customers in a day, so their powers have gotten much stronger, and two, we've accrued more Mappo per person that we've seen to be granting wishes. It may be because the wishes have gotten bigger, though I would say that the wishes we've seen on screen have not been ginormous. But I think the implication is that they've gotten bigger and we've been able to do more. And it's been very, very sweet. As well as they can handle the amount of magic that they need to do. And so we've gotten to a big number. We're at a big number. We're hitting that 5th digit. And then we have Aiko. And then we have Aiko. Ooh, me trying not to be, like, mad. Trying not to be mad. Because we have Aiko. Oh my god, like, since the beginning we've had Aiko. And now she's being revisited, and they've been teasing her. Like, I pointed out that several episodes now, she's been showing up being like, I'm in the background and I'm still watching the crew. And now we know a bit of why. We know a little bit why. I also was, like, kind of curious. No, I'll get to it. I'll get to that in a minute. We're gonna... She's just here. She came back. We learn that she's still allegedly fighting that battle with her family where she decided to do what she wanted to do, but her family's not very supportive of it. And being at this kind of impasse, which, I guess, Queen, I guess that's your problem. All the while, the group is like, hey, we can do it, you know, we've gotten really good at this witch thing, maybe we can improve your wish from last time. Like, they seem to still be in the boat that all she needs is encouragement, which she needs a lot more than encouragement. She needs a therapy session. But it does allow us to go right into one of the funnest songs I think we've had thus far in the show. I really like, they give her, interestingly enough, an orange flower. I don't know enough about flower language to put insight on that flower, but I'm sure that's relevant somehow. I'm surprised they didn't give her a red rose this time, compared to what we gave her in the first episode. I feel like that fake blue rose would have been more telling in this moment. I also think a red rose, given her color palette, would also have been an interesting choice. Nonetheless, we have this really... I wanted to point this out, too. The stages, I know back, like, with Aiko here, we might as well talk a little bit about episode 1. I was curious how they were going to handle the stages, and if we were going to see stages be very repetitive, because it's pretty costly to create entirely new stages. Like, even with these stages not being the most complex 3D modeled thing in the universe, it does have really in-depth textures. I mean, look at the textures for this. They have a lot of detail and love behind them that I find so insanely impressive. Like, this has got the whole, and I'll get to why it's a taiko, like, they have the drum, kind of traditional taiko stage. But also, like, they've got these books, like, it's a bookcase on the interior. Like, the stage is very, very cool. Very, very cool for this song. And I like that they've been doing very unique stages for every song. I like that they do this drum movement at the beginning to mirror the music. I also like that on top of, obviously, the stage that they have and the 3D models and all that, they also do a lot of, like, motion graphics, which would just be, like, the 2D type and stuff like that that goes on top of the video editing. So, like, they have these things be very detailed. I assume that's because they probably also want to have a level of, like, you're obviously selling the song is a huge part of it, but also so that they could post these as separate videos on like a YouTube channel or something. Because all of these songs have been art pieces. They haven't just been like callously put in art, like they haven't been callously put in concerts or anything along those lines. They've been incredibly intentional, and I really like that. And then we start to fold into the craziness of this episode. It's revealed that Aiko can see Ketope, and I should have found the first red flag be that Ketope said that Aiko is significantly more powerful than the rest of the crew. She's one of those girls that's like one in a million type individuals. And I think the big implication, especially for where like this is going to end, is that she probably alone is as strong as the 5 of them combined, which is why we're probably going to have some kind of witch battle as our finale. But the second that he was like, she's way stronger than you guys, I was like, okay, so you're already putting her in opposition with the girls. I should have read that red flag a little bit redder. And also we just like focus in on it being in, I believe it's an orange rose this time, if I'm getting my flowers correct. I don't know, let's look up. Well, you know what, I got Google. Let's look up what the hell an orange flower implies. I feel like, is that one of the ones that means friendship? Okay, it stands for fascination, enthusiasm, desire, and energy. Which I guess it makes sense that they gave her an orange rose because that's the thing that she was lacking in. It was like the whole thing was to give her encouragement. So I guess that's why they gave her an orange flower, which I guess she did get pretty enthused there at the end. But back to Azu. We've seen that she's gotten, like, we get to see these nuggets of how far her character development has come since we saw her in, like, episodes 1 and 2. She is considering, like, revealing it to the girls. She's considering that these people will not judge her in the way that she's been judged thus far. But then we see the really rude texts from her classmates are like, oh my god, do you want to go see the fireworks with us? JK! Well, we would never message you. And, like, she's like, never mind, everybody would hate me if they know what I really look like. And it bums me out! Oh! She's, like, so close to, like, willingly opening up with the crew, and her insecurities keep walling her off from friendship. It makes me really bummed out. In the meanwhile, the rest of the crew has taken Aiko in as sort of, like, a trainee, because initially Aiko was like, oh, no, I don't want to intrude on all of you guys. I don't want to be kind of, like, throwing myself into the group. I'm like, so one thing that I was trying to figure out, which I should have paid more attention in the episode, was like, oh, if Aiko would be a really fun, like, I think I got a little too much attached to the idea of like, oh my god, we've got 4 episodes left. We could just add another member to the team. Like, what a plot twist that would be. What color would she be? Because I keep getting distracted by her, like, maroon hair. And I'm like, would she be maroon? Would maroon be her color? Like, she can't be pink because Yuna's pink. I'm completely ignoring that, like, every single thing she has is red. I'm looking right now, and her notebook and her pen are red. Girl is obviously the Red Ranger of this group. And, oh my god, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, for the most part, they're all explaining kind of how the group works. And how, like, they normally eat together, but they make the comment, which obviously implies what it implies, that Azu never eats with them. Azu always kind of eats on her own. Everybody brings their own meals. They also talk about how, like, they throw in the nuggets of the group integrating together and working together, where we have, like, Kyoka has eaten, like, instant noodles for the first time because she's always been very posh and she's never had to eat cheaper food before. It was a very Oran High Host Club instant coffee moment. But we just, like, see how the passage of time has passed, I guess is the best way to put it. And how they've grown off screen, and I like it. It feels very natural, and I like that's the one thing that I always kind of have a little bit of like with these groups, especially if the group gets larger than 5. I cannot handle shows where the group gets larger than 5 because I feel like it's a lot less convincing that all the group members have become friends and genuinely like each other. Not calling out any other idol IPs that do that. But I love that they've made a lot of effort in not only having the group be friends, but really focusing in on having the characters all have interactions with each other. Like, there's a couple of moments where, like, Choco and Mai are interacting a lot in this episode, and they have not had, like, big major interactions thus far in the series, but it's very cute. We also reveal, like, all the truths about the group, like, Mai's become a bigger streamer lately, on top of being Kumai. They obviously explain that Kyoka has decided she wanted to be the mayor and is working towards that and the little efforts that she's made for that. Choko has talked about like things getting a little bit better at home and that she's going to have enough time to take time off in the future for a specific event that we want to go on, which has kind of been the conflict for Yuna and that what she pushes in this scene. Yuna talks about how badly she's wanted to celebrate summer because they've been working at the shop the whole time. They haven't been living their best summer lives, and she lives off a bunch of summer stuff, and I'm like, girl, I feel you, because I'm a big summer girly too. But one person has shut it down a little bit more than everyone else thus far, and that has been Azu, and that's specifically because she doesn't want to go out in public. But Yuna really pushes this more than she normally does. And Azu, and again, showcasing her character, sitting here and she listens to everybody talk about how like she's kind of been the person who's been stopping this from going on, and she's like, I should just, maybe I do love these girls and I don't want to keep being the one person who's ruining everything for them. And it's interesting too because she doesn't get super mad because they are kind of like poking fun at her and like being like, Azu would say this or Azu would complain about this and that's why we wouldn't go. Like the girls are not necessarily being like the nicest about it, but it is true that Azu has had like all these 50 different complaints of why she can't go out. And so instead of like, I'm so proud of her for not getting angry in this moment and getting pissed at them, she's genuinely like, oh man, I really am kind of like preventing them from going out. But also, even with them picking on her, it does lead them to come to the conclusion that the best option for them to go out would be going to see the fireworks because she doesn't want to go to the beach or a pool because she'll get like sunburnt and stuff. And she doesn't want to get her, like, she doesn't want her pale, pasty skin to get any tan. And she doesn't want to go places with like an absurd amount of crowd or something. And so they settle on the fireworks show, which also was the thing. I'm surprised she's not more upset about that because that was the thing that she excitedly could have gone with when her classmates accidentally texted her. And then we're like, haha, we would never take you. So it's nice that Azu ultimately says, let's do it. You know what? Go for it. As well as this being the implication that she's worked up enough bravery to show her true self to the crew. Which is why I like this scene that we have here, where Azu's like still trying to push herself to work with the group. And then we have kind of the devil's advocate with her, where Kerope is like, you could just use Mappo. Like, if you used a sizable portion of the Mappo, perhaps you would be able to go out with the girls looking the way you do now. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And this is again where the thing where I can't quite pin if he's like genuinely an antagonistic character who's just straight up like presented before us, or if it's just part of the growth thing where he does the reverse psychology bit, where he keeps pushing them in the wrong direction, but hoping that they've grown enough that they'll pick the right choice. In which here she's like, no, it's not worth taking the Mappo, and I don't want to hate myself more than I already do, which is such a line that goes so hard. It goes so hard when she's like, no, I don't want to hate myself more than I already do. I've got to take this leap. I've got to go for it. And it's so great to see how far she's come, as well as the series being bold enough to have her say that out loud. Like, it's been the thing that they've been implying with her character thus far, but I appreciate that the series will imply things very heavily. And then when we reach an ultimatum with the characters, they will actually repeat the line that we've all been assuming, which is nice. I like a series that has the ability to imply something and kind of belittle the audience for being dumb. I like them to imply stuff and have us think harder. But then I do think when it gets to a certain point, people are dumb and they do need to spell stuff out. So I'm glad that they have her actually say the line that we knew was about her character the whole time. And then we get to see the anxiety kind of pour through. I believe the rainbow icon here is, I believe that's Kyoka at the top. So we've seen that, I think her icon before was the mole man and it's now been changed to the rainbow. We still have Choco as her little chocolate self, and then Mai as her little white mage self, which is so cute. But we see them all talking about the big event about to happen. They've all planned it. They've gone to great lengths for it to make it perfect, because we did have Azu come in and being like, okay, it needs to be this way, and we need to not half-ass this if we're actually going to do it. However, Azu does get cold feet and ends up telling everybody that she's got a fever, she can't go, to which they're like, oh no, something bad's happened with Yuna, like, it's really bad. I don't think they even say you have to get over here and do something. They're just like, Yuna's super injured or something. And so she races over. She comes, like, post-haste. And then we get this whole spill of information, which I think is so great for the whole characters. and how far we've come in the series. So first and foremost, the group confronted Yuina about her pushing this summer break thing and being very selfish, which I'm going to be honest, I did feel like Yuina was being a little bit more selfish than usual, but also didn't feel like it was completely out of character for her. She tends to do stuff and have everybody sort of whimsically go along with her. But it's interesting that the series itself calls out, they're like, Yuina, you pushing this summer holiday bit and not just being dedicated to the workshop is really weird. Like, you're usually not this selfish, which I think is nice that the series is saying that, because I feel like a lot of other series, especially with a pink lead, like a Genki protagonist kind of person, tends to be incredibly selfish. I think I've just gotten so used to those characters always being absurdly selfish and everybody just goes along with it. It's always been my pet peeve, but now I've gotten so desensitized to it. Like, that's a normal thing for a pink lead. But they actually call it out. They're like, girl, you trying to push this thing has been so selfish. And then they're like, but we thought about it a little bit more because we know you, Yuina. Like, sure, like, have you not noticed that Azu doesn't want to go out physically? She doesn't want to leave the store, and she's never done it with us before. And then Yuina's like, oh yeah, you guys noticed too? I love that they have this point where Yuina knew it. All of them had clocked that Azu doesn't leave the store for whatever reason. And so, clocking that, they realize that Yuina has come to the conclusion that their friendship has evolved to a point where they feel like they can finally, like, get her to go out with them, or have her explain why she doesn't want to go out with them. And this was Yuina's way of pushing that. And so you find out that, like, they even say it, they're like, Yuina, we thought you were too dumb to, like, really pick up on the vibes, but actually everything you've been doing is for Azu's sake. All of this and everything we've come up with has been thus far for Azu's sake. Her whole whining about Summer has been for Azu the entire time, which is such a great plot twist. And just, again, reinforces that I really like Yuina as a protagonist. I really like her as the main lead for this group. I feel like she's just been such a phenomenal character in the lineup, and she's been very conscientious of the rest of the group. It's been good. This show has been so good. It's healing my, like, negative tropes towards pink characters. And then what I think was even cuter is that they were like, we need to come up with a lie that somebody wasn't feeling well in the group to convince Azu to come in here, because they realized that Azu cares enough that she would be one of the first people to rush in and try to save them, which I think is so freaking adorable. But they're like, who are we going to choose? And it's so funny to me because they're like, ultimately, they were like, maybe Kyoka or somebody, but they're like, no. One, that wouldn't be convincing, but two, she cares about Yuina the most. Despite her being the weird, like, meanest to Yuina, it's her little tsundere self who likes and cares about Yuina the most. She's, like, the most hopeless, so we have to take care of her, the sweet little baby angel. And I like that they were correct, because Azu came rushing worried about Yuina, and I think that's so sweet. I think how much she's, like, really loves the group is so sweet. And then on top of that, they're like, so we decided that we're not going to go out for the fireworks. Instead, we're going to stay in. We also got a bunch of food to your specification, and we got all the food we brought in here, and we did all of this for you. And I like that too, because we've also did a lot for, like, Choco and Kyoka in terms of, like, the birthday party and cake celebration before, and I like to see them go this far for Azu as well. It's so sweet. And so we end up having the sort of firework picnic here instead, which we saw from the preview that they were on some kind of floating material, so it was likely that they did this in the Witchverse. But then we have a conversation that's very interesting, where Azu is like, you guys like this even though it's completely and utterly fake. Do you guys really enjoy this and really think it's valid even though it's a lie, even though it's not really the true reality? And in this, she's not just speaking, obviously, about the fireworks. She's talking about herself. You guys would still like something even if you knew it was a lie, in the sense that she's like, would you guys still like me even if you knew what my true appearance was? And Yuina, of course, was like, yeah, what does it matter? Fireworks are fireworks. It's like, at the core, it's still the same thing, even if it's not literally it. And oh my god. We see this just like, we see the flash in Azu's eyes, and she's just like so magically, like, whimsical with the love and the happiness and the group unity, and it's really cute. And then we get to see these outfits. So we saw in the opening for the show these, like, yukata that they wore, and now we actually get to see it in the show. So I guess I kind of want to go back and look at the opening and see all the shots and see how many we've carried over. I also think I talked about how long the show could run, and I probably also should have figured, because this is a summer airing show, that for the most part it's been a spring to summer airing show, that it's probably not going to go past summer for where the conclusion on the timeline goes. So despite this show probably ending, in like June, July, probably the beginning of July, I think it's going to imply that it ends in like August, if they're not already in August at this point. But I'm glad to see them be cute, and we really just get to see the group and how far it's coming. It's just like, this is all the calm before the storm. We have to like show us how far the group's become before we go into whatever trepidatious, intense finale arc that we're about to hit. Also, I get to see Mai with her hair down. She's very cute. And I also like that, again, one of my biggest things when it comes to Idol Series 2 is center. Like, I hate series where the main character is the only center and then, like, everybody else is just the groupies. I like that even in stuff like this, we get to see different characters centered. You see Mai obviously doing the game. You get to see Choco and Azu have a moment. Again, characters that don't interact too often. We see a bit of, like, Yuna and taking her photos with everybody. And then I was like, where's Aiko? Because, like, wasn't she supposed to be, like, you know, she was part of the conversation when they set all this up. I was like, she's clearly clocked in to what's happening. She's fairly aware of the things that are going on. I don't know how much she knows about everybody, but she knows at least some of the bigger hitters. So she slides in here while we all have this, like, big thing. And, you know, Yuna makes a pledge that I think is also going to be very important for this finale, which is, like, let's not just be witches now and everything. Like, let's be best friends forever. And I was like, oh, don't be saying lines like this not at the finale, like not in the final episode, because this just means that they're gonna separate at the end of the show or something awful. I want them to be besties forever. If this ends up being one of those shows where in the last episode they're like, and then the five of us went our separate ways and we like never saw each other again, I'm gonna hurl. If they pull that on me, I also don't want to see the thing where it's like, we didn't talk to each other for like 10 years, but then we all have like our time skip and we're older and we're meeting up again. Nope. I want them to set me up a season 2. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I want. I want this to be set up for a season 2. This better be popping off in Japan and we better have good sales and we better have a season 2. I'm just going to put it that way. If they make my heart hurt and they conclude this series very conclusively, I'm going to be a little mad. I want them to at least open the door for a season 2. And we also, again, just get to see them all being cute, and they're poking fun at Azu, and it's adorable, and they've come so far! And it's nice to see, like, especially, like, Mai's gotten far more playful, Choco has gotten a lot more honest, Yoka has her little older sister bond going on with everybody, and, like, it feels a little bit more honest than it was before. And, of course, Yuna with the picture. And just seeing everybody together and how fun they got, it's just cute! Look at them! Oh, it's so nice. It's not about to be nice anymore, but we get one moment, you know. We got one little moment. And I love it too, because last episode, I feel like we concluded things, but it felt very gentle. Last episode felt so gentle. This episode felt like it was very heartwarming, but like with bringing back Azu's plotline, I felt like it reignited a fire of like, it just brought that warmth to this episode. It felt so sweet. Like, I feel like I found this conclusion a little bit more impactful than last episode's for plot lines, which it should be, because we're moving into the finale. Every single plotline we close now needs to feel a little bit stronger than the ones we've had before it. I need that power scaling of emotion. Because then we have this, like, the second she's like, oh, is this the Mappo? I was like, no, she's evil. The second she's like, oh, the Mappo, I was like, oh my god. Also, this is such a callback to Mai. Everything they do here is such a callback to, like, when they set up Mai's story at the end of Azu's, so I was like, it's feeling very cyclical. It's feeling like they're really coming down here. I mean, I assume that we're gonna get a bit of Azu next episode, but I would not be surprised if they start to bring back Mai. But, like, very similar to Mai, she's like, oh, but what if I betrayed you? What if I started using the Mappo selfishly? So, a little bit of a callback. And then, like, look at her, you can already see the tinge of evil going on. And I'm like, girl, I'm pretty sure you can grant your wish with, like, a little bit of... You don't need all of it. You don't need 23,000. Like, whatever you need to do to get your parents off your back, I think we don't need that much magic. Like, we have Choco using time travel over there to reset time every day. Like, surely you don't need that much magic since you literally already realized you have, like, latent magic. You don't need the Mappo. What are we doing? What's happening? How's this going? And oh, no one could prepare for, like, the transformation she went in. Because she's like, not only am I taking the Mappo, like, I was, like, expecting her to be like, hee, I'm stealing the Mappo, haha. I did not expect her to go full on, like, crooked villain. Like, the evil flames, also the red. Oh, what's her color? Oh, it's red. Her color is red. I'm dumb. Like, what? She's so evil. So evil. I mean, Mai had her evil smile, so, like, maybe it's not that evil, but it's feeling pretty evil. This series gaslights you with how evil people are. And then this was very subtle. I think it's a kind of, you don't quite notice it. She has these red flames take over, and her uniform goes from like white to black, which I'm like, that's something happening. What's going on there? Her hair gets put down, and then she's got like purple hair at the bottom. Like, it's still her like maroon hair, but it seems to be going to the purple. Maybe it's just like the shading. Maybe it's red. I feel like red would make more sense, but now she got like purpley hair, purple ombre. Don't be disrespecting the ombre. Don't make the ombre evil. And like, look at her. See, now it looks more red here, but that's just the lighting. I don't know. Her eyes look way more red now, so she's the red one. She's the red one. All right, now we get into theory time. We get into theory time because she's like, oh, I can finally get what I want. And it's like, okay, girl, what do you want? So, boring theory. She was a plant. The whole time, she was like an actual for reals, like, finished witch. And her whole plotline about wanting to be a doctor and everything was fabricated, and it's just all one big test for the group. Because Kanope reacts very, like, whatever to everything that happens, so I'm like, is she a plant? Is this just like, we gotta test the witches? That's the boring answer to this question. Her just being a plant and this all being a setup to test the girls could be an idea, but it's boring. So, boring theory aside. Now, real talk. So, it's like, let's pretend. Let's go with her whole plotline being dramatic enough. Like, let's pretend it's dramatic enough going on here. Where she's like, oh, yeah, I genuinely need to, like, get my parents out of the way and pursue what I want and live as freely as I want to, and I'm, like, becoming an evil sorceress for some reason to accomplish that. Like, okay, sure. Then my best guess is that despite how evil she is now, somehow the group is gonna bond together and we're gonna have a 5v1, and they're gonna use the power of friendship and music to be like, hey girl, it's okay. And then she becomes the 6th member, and then season 2 comes and we have 6 girls instead of 5. That's my prediction. That's probably what's gonna happen. I don't know, it's crazy. It's really crazy. She looks super evil. It'd be cool if she was, like, for reals evil, but I feel like this is the redemption series, and despite how evil our girls be looking, maybe she's not, like, full on. I don't know, and then we have UNA. I don't know. Anyways, they get yeeted, and the Bible gets stolen. They get yeeted. They're stuck in UNA's room, which also, like, now they're all inconvenienced, and, like, how are they gonna get home tonight? They probably not. Well, then again, we see them on the train in the preview, so maybe they all just take the train. Nonetheless, we see that Ozzy's come out, and she's like, whoa, wait, this is, like, I'm not really feeling like I need to be showing you guys who I really am right now. I feel like we're kind of going through it, and I'm kind of going through it, so, unfortunately, she hides under the blanket. And then they're like, Kanope, what the heck? And he's like, y'all better get that back, or else you guys aren't wishes, and you're gonna forget everything, and you're not gonna be friends no more. And I was like, what? And more importantly, Yuina is like, what? I have to say, the voice actress, so good here. So good. In the same way that Chogo's voice actress popped up a few episodes ago, Yuina's voice actress pops off here. Like, her shrills and cries at the prospect of losing all of this and losing the friendship that she's gained, that sent shivers down my spine. Her performance here was so good, and I think, again, like I said before, where I think the series is going to end on Yuina, and we're going to really unpack some of the stuff going on with her. I think the loss of her grandfather hit her really hard, as that was probably one of the only people that she's had, like, a super fun relationship with. Like, just, like, had a big friendship, and she's really never had friends. Now that she's having this friendship, I feel like the scars of losing her grandfather are going to feel similar to the scars of losing her friends here. And she's really, really worried about losing everybody, and she's, like, holding tight onto that friendship. So her freaking out here, I think, is so, like, it's the finale I'm waiting for. It's the thing I've been waiting for the whole time with Yuina. I feel like we're gonna unfold that. I feel like we're hitting the end games. We've got about three-ish episodes left. Bring it on. Bring it on, baby. I'm ready to see the emotional damage. I'm ready to see some tears and singing. We're getting everything right now. And then, I don't know, what's gonna happen with Aiko? What's gonna happen with her? I don't know. I'll see you guys next time. So for now, bye-bye!